What if I told you that an angel might be in your house right now? Not a metaphor, not a dream, but a real, divine presence watching over you, guiding you, and trying to get your attention. The problem is, we miss the signs. I missed them too, until they became impossible to ignore. It started with a feather on my nightstand, though I don't own a single pillow with feathers. Then came the sudden warmth in the room, no heater, no sunlight, just a wave of peace. Then a flicker of light in the corner that vanished the moment I looked. That's when I knew something holy was happening. You see, angels don't need to knock on your door. They leave traces, signs, little whispers from the other side to let you know you are not alone. And once I started noticing these signs, everything changed. If you've felt like someone or something is trying to reach you lately, this might be why. Here are 10 undeniable signs that angels are in your home. I've seen them, I've felt them, and now I can't unsee them. I wasn't expecting anything that morning. It was just another quiet day, the kind where you move through your routine on autopilot, make coffee, check your phone, try to feel alive. But something felt different. I walked into the living room and froze. Right there in the middle of my coffee table was a single white feather. Small, delicate, perfectly still. I don't own birds. The windows were closed. There was no breeze, no mess, no reason. Just a feather. At first I told myself it must have come from a jacket or blanket. But deep down I knew that wasn't true. There was no fluff, no fabric. Just that single, pure feather, sitting like a message. A message I didn't know how to read, but I felt it. It was like someone had reached across the veil offering comfort I didn't ask for but desperately needed. A strange calm came over me. Not the kind you force when pretending to be okay, but the kind that settles in your bones when something divine brushes your world. I picked up the feather and stared at it. My heart didn't race. My mind didn't question. I just felt seen. That's when I learned. Angels don't always appear in visions or dreams. Sometimes, they leave signs in the quietest ways. A white feather is one of their gentlest signatures, a whisper from heaven that says, I see you. You are not alone. That moment stayed with me. The world didn't suddenly change, but something inside me did. I began to notice more, feel more, believe more. All because of a feather. It happened on one of those days when grief sneaks up on you. I was missing my mom, not just remembering her but aching. The kind of missing that hits your chest like a weight. I sat quietly, letting the memories rush in. Her laugh, her hands, her voice saying my name. I went outside to clear my mind. Just a short walk. I wasn't thinking, just breathing. That's when I saw it. A coin on the sidewalk, perfectly placed, shiny, almost glowing in the sunlight. I bent down to pick it up, not expecting anything, but when I turned it over, I froze. The year on the coin, my mom's birth year. I stood there, stunned, heart pounding, eyes tearing up. It felt like a whisper from the other side. I had heard stories of people finding coins after losing loved ones, but I never thought it would happen to me. Yet in that moment, it didn't feel random. It felt like a sign, a reminder, a message. I'm still with you. Angels and sometimes loved ones who have passed use coins to communicate. It's their way of bridging the worlds, of letting us know we are seen, remembered, and deeply loved. Now, every time I find a coin, I pause. I check the year, I listen. Because sometimes, a simple coin carries a sacred message. I was meditating one evening, trying to calm my racing thoughts. The room was warm, my blanket wrapped around me. There was no draft, no noise, just soft music and the steady rhythm of my breath. That's when it happened. A wave of chills swept through me from the base of my spine up to the back of my neck. My skin tingled, goosebumps rose on my arms, even though the temperature hadn't changed. I opened my eyes. Nothing had moved. No one was there, but I felt something, not fear, not cold. It was like something had brushed past me, not physically, but spiritually. A presence, a vibration. And it moved through me like light moving through glass, clear and undeniable. I'd read before that angels carry an extremely high frequency, and when they come close, your body, which is naturally slower and heavier in vibration, feels the difference. That clash of energies, however gentle, creates a physical response. Chills, tingling, that something just touched me feeling. From that moment on, I stopped brushing off those chills. They weren't random, they were communication. Now, whenever I feel that sudden rush goosebumps without a reason, I pause, I breathe, I whisper, I feel you. Thank you for being here, because more often than not, it's not just a chill, it's a sign. It was one of those rare moments of true silence. No music, no traffic, no voices, just stillness. I had just finished journaling and was sitting on the edge of my bed, staring at nothing, letting my mind settle. That's when I heard it. A soft ringing, high-pitched but gentle, right in my right ear. It didn't hurt. It wasn't annoying. It was just there, subtle, persistent, like a whisper that didn't need words. I froze, listened. The sound lasted maybe 10 seconds, then faded. But the feeling it left, that lingered. I didn't feel scared. I felt seen, like something someone was trying to get through. Later, I learned that ringing in the ears can be a spiritual download. Angels sometimes communicate through frequency, not language. And when they're near, especially when you're still open and in alignment, they begin to tune you. The ringing isn't just sound, it's vibration. It's a message your conscious mind may not be ready to understand yet, but your soul hears it. Ever since that night, I've stopped brushing those sounds off as nothing. Now, when I hear that soft, random tone in my ear, I close my eyes and say, I'm listening. Because sometimes, silence carries the loudest messages. I was praying, not out loud, just silently, with my hands folded and my head bowed. I wasn't asking for anything specific, just trying to connect, trying to feel less alone. That's when I felt it, a sudden warmth. It wasn't heat from the room, it wasn't the sun. It came from behind me, slow, steady, and unmistakably real. It felt like a hand resting gently on my shoulder. I didn't move, I didn't even open my eyes. But in that moment, I knew someone was with me. I didn't see anything. There were no footsteps, no creaking floors. Just that warmth, pressing into my skin like love itself had taken form, and I felt safe. I've always believed that energy doesn't lie. When something pure shows up, you feel it before you understand it. And that warmth wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual. It wrapped around me like an invisible hug. Later, I read that angels often make their presence known through sudden temperature shifts, not cold, warmth, comfort, as if to say, I'm here. You're not alone, you are loved. Since then, whenever I feel that wave of warmth for no reason, I smile, I breathe, and I say thank you. Because sometimes, the most sacred touch isn't one you can see. It's the one you feel right when your soul needs it most. I wasn't playing any music. No speakers were on, no headphones. My phone was across the room. Yet as I sipped my morning coffee and looked out the window, I heard it. A melody, soft, wordless, almost like a lullaby drifting through the air. I paused, listened again. It wasn't coming from outside. No cars, no neighbors, just this gentle tune somewhere between thought and sound. It didn't scare me. It didn't feel strange. In fact, it felt peaceful, familiar, somehow. Like something I'd heard long ago but forgotten. I let it play in my mind for a while, almost not wanting it to stop. And as the day went on, I noticed something odd. Everything flowed. The meetings went well. Traffic was light. My mood stayed calm. Even people who were usually difficult seemed more patient, more kind. It was like I'd been wrapped in a frequency of grace. Later that evening, I read about angelic music, how angels sometimes communicate through spontaneous melodies. These aren't just hallucinations, they're signs, vibrations from a higher realm, gently aligning you with peace and divine timing. Now, whenever I hear music that no one else seems to hear, I pause, I smile, and I say, thank you. Because maybe heaven has its own way of speaking through songs only the soul can hear. I had a big decision to make. Nothing dramatic, just a job offer in a new city. But it had the potential to change my life. On paper, it made sense. Good salary, solid company, a fresh start. But something felt off. Every time I tried to say yes, a strange flutter hit me right in the gut. Not pain, not fear, just this restless stirring, like butterflies flapping their wings deep inside me. It wouldn't go away. At first, I thought I was just nervous. But the feeling wasn't tied to anxiety. It felt different, wiser, like a quiet signal from within. That's when I realized this wasn't just emotion. It was intuition. And maybe, just maybe, it was a message. I've come to learn that angels often guide us through our bodies. The stomach, especially, is sensitive to energy shifts. That gut feeling isn't just a phrase, it's a built-in compass, a sacred radar tuned to the divine. When something isn't aligned, your body knows before your mind does. So I paused, I listened, and eventually I turned down the offer. It was the right choice. Looking back, I believe the butterflies weren't fear. They were angels whispering, "Not this way." Now, whenever I feel that flutter, I pay attention. Because sometimes, heaven speaks through the body before the mind catches up. It came out of nowhere. I was folding laundry, half distracted, when I noticed a soft, sweet smell hanging in the air. I paused, took another breath. Roses, not artificial, not like a scented candle, real, fresh, alive. But here's the thing, I didn't have roses in the house. No perfume, no flowers, no open windows, nothing that could explain it. Still, the scent lingered. It wasn't overwhelming, just enough to make me stop, close my eyes, and feel safe. Like someone kind had just entered the room. Not physically, but energetically. It felt like love had a scent. I stood there, surrounded by that gentle aroma, and something inside me softened. The stress melted, my breath deepened. The space felt warm, almost sacred. Later that night, I learned that mysterious floral scents, especially roses, are often signs of angelic presence. They say that angels don't always speak through sound. Sometimes, they arrive with a scent, a signature from the divine that speaks directly to your soul. Since then, I've had it happen more than once. Always unexpected. Always when I need comfort the most. Now, when I smell something beautiful for no reason, I smile. I breathe it in, and I whisper, "Thank you for visiting." Because sometimes, heaven walks in quietly, on the fragrance of a rose. The house was quiet. No TV, no music, no movement. Just me, home alone, catching up on some reading in the living room. And then it happened. I suddenly felt like someone was standing right behind me, not brushing against me, not touching me, but close enough to notice. Close enough that I instinctively turned my head to look. No one was there, but the feeling didn't fade. I didn't feel scared. I wasn't cold. In fact, I felt strangely calm, like something or someone was watching over me, not watching me. There's a difference. It felt protective. I sat there for a few moments, unsure of what to make of it. My heart wasn't racing. My thoughts weren't panicking. I just felt held, like invisible arms were surrounding me with presence and peace. Later that night, I read that angels often show up as a strong, peaceful presence. You won't always see them, but you'll know. You'll feel the shift in energy. The space around you becomes fuller, warmer, like love itself has stepped into the room. Now, whenever I feel that same sense of someone's here, I smile. I close my eyes and I whisper, "Thank you for being with me." Because sometimes, the most powerful protection is the one you never see coming. It happened in a second, but I'll never forget it. I was getting ready for bed, turning off the lights one by one. The room was dim, lit only by the soft glow of a lamp. I turned toward the hallway and that's when I saw it. A flash, bright blue. It flickered in the corner of the room and vanished just as quickly as it appeared. At first I thought maybe a car had passed by, headlights bouncing off a mirror. But there was no car, no window facing the street, no reflection. Just light, pure and sudden, gone in an instant. but the feeling it left behind, that lingered. It wasn't just surprise, it was certainty, like something holy had just entered the room and left its fingerprint behind. Later, I learned that angels often appear as quick flashes of light. Blue, white, gold, each color, said to carry a specific vibration or message. Blue is often linked with Archangel Michael, protector and guide. And in that moment, I didn't need scientific proof. I just knew. The air felt different, my heart felt full, and I whispered aloud, "I see you. Thank you for showing up." Since then, I've noticed it more than once. Always quick, always quiet, always enough to remind me I'm never really alone. So if you've ever seen a strange flicker of light, don't be so quick to dismiss it. You might be witnessing something divine. Maybe you've never seen an angel. No wings, no halos, no glowing figure at the foot of your bed. But if you've ever felt a warmth when you were cold, a calm when you were breaking, a sign when you were lost, then maybe, just maybe, you've already been touched by one. Angels don't always arrive with trumpets and fanfare. Most of the time, they come quietly in a breeze, in a whisper, in a light that flickers when no one's around. They don't need you to see them. They just need you to feel them, to be still, to breathe, to believe. The more you open your heart, the more you create space for divine connection. And in that sacred silence, you'll begin to notice feathers, coins, warmth, music, intuition, love, because that's what they are, messengers of love. So if you've felt something lately that you can't quite explain, something that made you pause, or smile, or breathe a little deeper, pay attention. It could be a sign. And if it is, say thank you. Because sometimes, the most powerful presence is the one you never see.